Big Ticket Morning Show with Jazzy McBee on the People Station V-103, the ATL's #1 for hip-hop, R&B, and throwbacks. Jazzy.
Yes, Tig.
This man right here has put something out that I encourage everyone to make sure they go see.
Ooh.
The film is called Nickel Boys, and this was hard for me to watch, sir.
Yeah, it gets deep.
How are you? RaMell Ross is in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you two?
I'm great. Listen, look, this woo. I mean, woo. As we make our way through Black History Month, this was a lot of Black history for me personally. Tell me how you got to tell this story.
Yeah, I felt like the luckiest man in the world. I was offered to adapt it, to Colson Whitehead novel, and he's a monument of a storyteller. And Plan B, this amazing company run by Brad Pitt and Dee Gardner and Jeremy Kleiner, they asked me to, and I jumped on the opportunity.
Love it. So what attracted you to the story of the Nickel Boys, and what does it mean to you personally?
Yeah, the story is one that's incredibly familiar. It's, about a young Black boy who has a bunch of promise and ends up in a reform school. His relationship with another man and the way in which their platonic relationship over time shapes, their destinies. And I identify with that as a man of color, but it's also an opportunity because it takes place in the 60s to populate the film landscape with poetry, with the type of imagery that is often missing from renditions of that time period. And like, that's what I do. Like, I love visual art and love visual poetry.
Excuse me, watch me put the sauce on it. This Academy Award Oscar nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. I was very interested in the manner in which you shot it, the point of view, and then even you'll get a point of view from one character, and they get the point of view from the same thing from the other character. Talk a little bit how that came about, or that thought process went.
Yeah, it's something that we see in literature, right? You can be, first person very easily through language. But I wonder truly what that looks like in film, because I think Black subjectivity is relatively missing to like engage with the cinematic image from the undeniable perspective of a person of color. Like, that it is authored by us is something wanted to try out inside Colson's novel, and that allowed us to, I believe, have a sort of undeniable proof of existence,
Absolutely. This has been called the #1 movie of the year by the New Yorker, the New York Times, the Atlantic. Lots of kudos and recognition headed your way. But at the heart of it, what was the most important part of this storytelling narrative?
Yeah, I like that question. It's a big task to adapt a book of this power and to try to explore a story that has such like traumatic elements in it inside the cinematic medium, to be respectful to the characters and to the original source material, which is the Dozier School for Boys, a reform school that closed in 2011 and bodies began to be exhumed in 2013. But which I think we did, my co-writer and I, and my amazing DP, Joe Mofrey, if you can make this an experience that people kind of feel in their body, if you can give them like a true sensory relationship to the narrative, then I think you're actually changing the way that someone engages in history. I think you're altering the way that someone engages in narrative, because it's of the body, it's of the real world. And that's kind of the goal, to give someone as close as possible an experience of Black subjectivity for those who are people of color to see it on screen, and those who aren't, just to get a feel for the inside of our head.
Talking to director RaMell Ross, who has brought us the epic journey called The Nickel Boys.
Absolutely. And you said history. This is some people may not know if they haven't seen the film as of yet. This is a true story. It's based on true story, real life, real facts. What were your thoughts when you read this story?
It's devastating, right? Like I come across the Nickel Boys book maybe a month before it's released, and many children were murdered and went missing over time. How did I not know about this until it becomes a fiction book? It's kind of unbelievable.
Right.
I think locally in North Florida, people had, they knew the story because it was local news, and it went national for a little bit. But it's I felt kind of embarrassed in a way that I didn't know this about my own people, and I think taking this movie on was an effort to change that for others, of course, and kind of write history in a way.
I mean, I'm still amazed that you said it closed in 2011. How is that still operating in 2011?
Crazy to me.
This really, really beautiful thinker, Franklin Leonard, who is the founder of the Blacklist, he had said in one of our Q&As, which really struck home for me, is that the survivors of the Dozier School for Boys are his father's age.
Wow.
Like you're saying, this isn't something that is ancient history. It was in the process of trying to figure out, what the look of the film would be and how people would engage with the set. Norm Mendez, our production designer, made an equally brilliant point in that we need to make sure that when we build this as it exists in the 60s, that it reflects that it will still be around 50 years from then, right? We don't want to make it feel like it's way in the past, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened then. It was still happening as we had iPhones in our hand,
Right.
As we're talking about electric cars.
Right. That's crazy. RaMell Ross, director of Nickel Boys, Oscar Award nominated film. Again, so I'm about to be a dad for the first time, right? And I thought my dad did an awesome job raising me. But as a father, I'm watching this film and I'm like, man, what? God forbid my son or I was in a situation like this. How would I navigate all of this, and how would what I'm saying? And it just took me a couple places. The White House scene, like the White House scene in particularly, because you don't actually see what happens, made me anxious. Like, talk a little bit about how you put together these scenes to strike these emotional chords in the people viewing it.
Yeah, so we're shooting point of view, as you mentioned, which means that the character is the audience, and the audience is sort of encountering the world at the same time. The way the camera is moving, we wanted to make the camera an organ. And if you think about these moments of trauma, when something is happening to a person in real life, or a person that is the character, you're not necessarily looking at the traumatic moment. Like, you're looking away, you're trying to cope, you're in a moment of trauma, and the idea is to escape, essentially. And so, we chose not to show any of the violence. And with that not showing, I think it does what you had said. It taps into something that's instinctually anticipatory, something that has more purchase on the imagination and the images that we've seen in the past, as opposed to the one that could possibly be given to us. And there's probably nothing more beautiful and terrifying as the human imagination. So your mind just goes there.
Right. And it goes literally everywhere, because you just don't know. So it's kind of like theater of your own mind, trying to figure out like what really happened. So how do you hope the film impacts audiences and raise awareness about the issues that it actually addresses in the film?
Yeah, I hope it does. It does history in an experiential way. If the best way to I think enact change, I think, well, people are most changed when they experience something, right? You can tell your kid, fire is hot, ice is cold, but when they touch it, they know, right?
Yes.
That experience is way grander. It supersedes language. It's what human beings sort of need. So the idea to make a film that has some of those elements of experience is a way to do history that gives people an emotional, sensory relationship to it. And I can't imagine that doesn't enact some sort of change, that doesn't help people really know what it felt like to be there and to experience some of these travesties.
Director RaMell Ross is our guest this morning. Again, the film was released in theaters October 25th. Has it migrated over? Where can people, if you missed it in theaters, where can they see it now? Like, what are other options?
Well, I'm a filmmaker, so I don't want people to watch it at home. I want people to watch it. I love you guys. I think you guys should see it. But go to the theater. That's what it's for. Like you're dedicating the 2 hours. But it is, I think, streaming right now. So for those who can't get there because they can't find a babysitter or whatever. Watch it at the crib and enjoy it wherever you can.
Absolutely. Well, RaMell, congratulations. Mm-hmm. Thank you for bringing us this epic story in the manner in which you did. Nickel Boys, again, in theaters since October 25th, nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for an Academy Award. I'm going to wish you well and hope you bring it home. And I'm looking forward to you doing more amazing work just like you brought us this time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're very proud and really appreciate you having us.
Absolutely. RaMell Ross, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't go too far. We got more Big Ticket Morning Show with Jazz and McBee next on V-103.